Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to PreMarket Prep at the close. Spencer Israel, Joy Elconin here with you for the next 20 minutes or so as we head into the close. It has been an interesting day on Wall Street. On PreMarket Prep this morning, we talked about how it was a reversal type day. Stocks that have been hot, the coronavirus stocks have been were being faded, and everything else was being bought this morning. We saw that happen today, really throughout the entire day. It was a pretty predictable day from that standpoint. Joel, give us a quick recap on what's happened today. It's been a weird day, an unusual day.
I wouldn't say weird. It's been a
Okay.
very strong day. I mean, we had that limit up situation this morning before the bell. Anybody that bought it before that limit never took any heat on the trade. You made a low at 23.30.50. That 22.30.50 was your low from last night. You never went lower than that limit bid at 33.5 this afternoon or this morning, 23.34. We traded up to 24, 27 and a quarter here, folks, but we're only two handles away that, and I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to get through that today. The next daily high I see, not much here in the 2400 handle. Believe it or not, your 3-day high is way up there at 24.99. Don't know if we'll get that up high today. The thing that was a little bit tricky about this rally is that you ran up to 27 and a quarter, and then you gave back 77 handles. You went all the way back nearly to that opening price. The opening price of the day session was 46.75. And then you just caught a bounce. And, very surprising here that we've come back up to challenge the highs of the session. Just failed there. So we might get a little bit of nervousness going in. Crude's not having a bad day. Crude's up 68 cents at 24.04. Gold continues to surge up $94 at 1661.60. Silver playing catch up again, up 8% here, up $1.07, a buck and 8, 9, 10 cents, $1.08 and 9 tenths at 14.35. Bitcoin having a good day too here, up $370 to 6,670, Spencer. So it's just a buy everything kind of day.
Yeah, and we talked about that this morning. I would caution everyone who's coming in with their buying shoes on to be careful. This is not the first kind of big update we've had. I'll remind you, March 13th, the S&P 500 rose a little over 9% that day. If you bought then, you'd be underwater today. If you want to go back and look at the best days in the history of the S&P 500, a couple of them were in late 2008, October 08, when we were in the midst of that crash. Two huge up days in mid to late October. So these aren't that uncommon. One big up day does not mean that the pain is over with and that we're done going down. I would bet that we're not done going down. One big up day just means that for one day people were buying, but I would caution that the long-term story, or at least the short-term story, hasn't changed here in the market. The fears that we had yesterday, last week, 2 weeks ago are still present. One update does not change 3 weeks of narrative.
No, it doesn't. But you have some shorts in the market too. They were looking for this thing, the Dow to go to 18,000, the S&P to go 2,000. In fact, that was Goldman Sachs's call on Friday, and reiterated to the public on Sunday. And we turned around on a dime here. Oversold conditions certainly contributed to that. You had a lot of margin selling that put pressure on the market throughout the week last week. And now the shorts that were sitting, fat and happy, sitting on some big profits, are now forced to cover these shorts into a rallying market as opposed to a declining market where they're just looking for bids. But Right now, this is the first major update. Well, we did have some other updates, nothing quite the level of 2,000 points. I wouldn't be surprised that to get the Dow up 2,000, you need another 85-point rally. We'll see if we can do that today.
Well, we closed up a little over 9% on the 13th. So what are we up now? 8.5% last I checked.
The Dow is up 10%.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and the S&P is up call it 8.8%.
Okay.
You just came off the high, just caught a little wave of selling there. Weekly number. I don't know if you could look for any kind of extended decline here in the final 14 minutes of trading until you breach 2,400. That was my weekly level, but a lot of stocks doing very, very good today. We
Yeah.
do have a press conference at 5:30.
Yep.
And what did you say about Florida? With the Florida governor revealed?
Yeah. The governor. This came out a few minutes ago, maybe 10, 20 minutes ago. The governor of Florida. Let me find the exact tweet. There said that Florida received 21,000 unemployment insurance claims yesterday alone. So look, these things happen, right? Big updates like this happen. I saw people in the Benzinga Pro chat asking, why is Dave and Buster's up today? Well, there is no fundamental reason why it's up. It's what Joel said. It's some combination of short covering, plus the expectation that we're going to get a deal here, some sort of aid package from Congress. It hasn't happened yet, but I guess it's supposed to happen today or
I
imminently.
don't know. I thought this was going to
I don't know.
happen for
I don't
days
know.
now.
I don't know. But so some combination of optimism of that and short squeezing, and these kind of things can happen. It doesn't mean that the correction is over with. It's probably not. But I would just preach caution to anyone who is looking at the market today and going in, with
All in for tomorrow.
all in with
I
two
mean,
hands. Yeah.
yeah, Nick mentioned that we're going to have jobless claims on Thursday. We
Yeah.
won't be getting our unemployment data. When's the first Friday of the month? It's going to be next week, right? That is
Uh,
certainly going to be an
is next
interesting.
week? Oh yeah, next Friday. Wow.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be a whopper of a number. We know that's coming out, and also, just what you alluded to about, why is Dave and well, that's DNB, right? Dave and
It's
Buster's
play.
play. Why did I say DNB? That was poor. I think it also in this kind of market environment, I think that the big players. Ooh, my trade station is not acting well here. How much is it up, Spencer?
It is up. What is it up today? Is that right? Whoa, 54%. Holy moly.
Where's that? What's the price on
Well,
it?
it closed. It closed at nine. I don't know what we'll call it. What 950? 996 is what it closed at, and it's at 1538 right now. So yeah, the math checks out there.
Well, I mean, also, I think that in these kind of circumstances, larger players come into the market, and let's say you're a larger player in Dave and Buster's over the last couple days, you've accumulated a nice long position in the issue. You get a day like this where it's a buy everything kind of day, and I'm not talking about any kind of market manipulation here. But I'm just talking that you're bidding your own position. You're taking it up, and you're not allowing other people, jumping ahead of the shorts, and whatnot. And I just think in this kind of market, you might be more prone to see the big boys even being bigger boys and moving stocks. They move stocks
Yeah.
on the upside, and they move them on. They move them on the downside. They move on the upside as well.
Dave and Buster's has now tripled in the past couple of days, but I'd be much more inclined to chase stocks on the downside than I would on the upside. That's just my opinion. Let's talk about Nike here. We haven't talked earnings for a while. There's been really no need to, but Nike reports earnings after the close today. It's kind of the first real interesting earnings report that we've had in a couple of weeks here. I haven't looked at the chart until just now. So Joel, I'm seeing some consolidation here around $65-$70.
Yeah, I am not looking at the chart either here, because my trade station is freezing up
Oh
on
no.
me. Yeah,
Well,
but
you have my
let
charts
me.
to look at.
All right, let's see here. Boom. Let me take a look in the daily here. I mean, here's the thing about Nike. So let's say they have a good quarter. Are they going to come out and withdraw guidance? Uh, Something along those lines, or lower guidance? I mean, how could they expect to have the next quarter be as good as this quarter?
I
With
don't
all
know.
the
There's
circumstances.
also the chance that they may not have had a. So these are the December quarter numbers, and uh, the COVID virus wasn't really bad in China until January, but it did exist in December too. So I'm wondering if we'll see an impact of that on their numbers from last quarter. I highly doubt they'll give guidance, Joel. Highly doubt they'll give any sort of guidance.
I
I'm,
did see some companies withdrawing guidance. So,
a lot of companies are withdrawing guidance.
yeah.
There's nothing they can say. So I
Is your
highly doubt
chart
it was.
is your chart not coming up there, or do I need to hit refresh?
I've got the
Uh,
daily up.
oh, you got the daily up
We're
here.
at 7160 right now.
I mean, sure, a lot of people would like to see 75 here. It looks like you had a couple highs going back, maybe 73 and a half, 74, and then your high from yesterday or today. Man, I can't tell. I'm about to pull up my trade station charts here, so I'll pull up a Nike in a second. Once you move on, uh, talk about Boeing here. We did, got the AOK from Goldman Sachs yesterday. Not sure what I'm hearing. Government rumblings on that yet.
I mean, they've
Um,
asked for money. So that's the thing is they've asked for money. Will they get any sort of stimulus pack, any sort of government assistance, takeover? All remains to be seen. But they've asked for money, and Goldman
Everyone's got their hand out.
they have their hand out. You're right, along with everyone else. Goldman came out yesterday with some commentary. It was Goldman, right? Yeah,
Yep.
and so it's formed a nice little base here, at least on the 5 day. Let's pull up a daily so we can see. But I mean,
I
I
mean, it's got a lot of room for retracement. I mean,
oh
even
yeah,
after
that's
it had the initial problem with the 737 Max, you had a couple dips. Remember, 320 bounce up to 380,
yeah.
320, 380. So I'm back here. I'm almost back on my charts, but for BA, let's see here. I mentioned that close at 124.41. That was a prior close. You have surpassed that, up $20 or 19% at 125.59. So excellent day here for Boeing, up 19%. But considering the haircut it's had from that 440, 450 high, just getting back a small fraction. A couple stocks we also talked about yesterday, maybe late in the day, Visa and MasterCard. Those stocks are finally showing some life today. I see MasterCard up nearly 16%, 31.99 at 235.25. So good move for that. And let's see if Visa is moving in the same direction. Visa is up, not quite as much on a percentage basis. It's up 12.75%, $17.32, trading right around 153.
And just going back to what I was saying, and this applies to pretty much every stock that's up today. This is probably a fine time to take a long-term position, like a several year or longer investment in anything, in any stock. But in terms of short to intermediate term time frames, I would not touch anything that is up today. For the reason that they're up, right? Because that they're up. I wouldn't chase this at any of these stocks on a short or intermediate time frames. And a longer time horizon, sure, why not? Just get in the market, right? Compounding interest works for you. But I wouldn't touch any of these right now. Just at
Just
least
made a
for
new high on the session at 29.75 here. So it looks like we do perhaps have some buy imbalances going into the close. Just hit 24.30. Have not backed off far off that level. So looking for a strong open and a strong close. As I said, we just hit 24.30. That gives us 100 and let's see here. What was that pre-market low? That pre-market low, we have 199.50 trading range. That exceeds your 9-day average trading range just by about $6-7. So market can do it on the downside, can do it on the upside as well. Do you want to cover a few quick issues here before
Well, I do want to look at Apple, since Apple said today that they expect to start opening stores. I believe they said by mid-April, which seems awfully soon. But we've talked about how this one is held up relative to the rest of the market. They have a lot of cash. We know that. That's kind of Apple's shtick right now, is they have piles of cash to sit on. So they talked about reopening stores. That's good, but mid-April sounds awfully soon to me. But
Yeah,
here's
I don't wonder what they know that we don't know
I don't
here.
know.
Low of the move yesterday at 212.61. Never saw that closing price today. That closing price of 224.37. That's probably a multi-year low closing price. Moving up here, I see 3 consecutive days of highs between 251.83 and 252.84. So that's still good $6-7 away. 250 a psychological level, but that's really you're running into resistance. Really no good resistance here in Apple until you get to at least the 252 area. Also we can. I mean, is it too early to start talking about retracements of this? Of these stocks. Certainly, it's not out of the question. Apple hit an all-time high a couple months ago at 327. What was that? 100-point drop, basically over that 115. So easily, 50% retracing, you get back up to the 260, 270 level. Spoos here, they have found they got a bid here, continuing to make new highs on the session. We just went to 24.37.75. And man, just like there was no support on the way down here, we're not finding any resistance here in the 24 handle. I think I mentioned the next daily high came in at 24.99. I think that was your 3 or 4 day high. So all is
I
well
mean,
on Wall
hey,
Street.
yeah, I mean, hey, maybe I'm wrong, right? For all I know, that was the bottom, right? And we're on our way back up now. But all I know is nothing has fundamentally changed, right? We don't have any hard evidence of a treatment or a vaccine that really works that will knock this thing out. Nothing has changed on the medical side. Nothing has even changed on the financial side. We don't even have a deal yet, a stimulus deal in Congress. So I don't know. Like I'm seeing the chat's talking about Carvana, CVNA, just a ridiculous move. These stocks are making ridiculous moves today. I I could be wrong, but I don't see how. I don't see why it would be because nothing has fundamentally changed here about the market. So
From a trading perspective, I mean, if you were accumulating, stocks and you had, targets here in the market, I encourage you to take those targets. If you feel like you missed some of the move here or the huge move off the low, then pick your spots and try and find some retracements on the way back. We could talk about that on tomorrow's show. I'm sure we're going to have a wild 4 to 4:15 session, and also from 4:30 to 5 when the spoos are trading with the stocks are closed from 4 to 4:15, but also 4:30 to 5. There's some real good trading action, but the Dow's going to end up up over 2,000 points on the day here. Currently
we got about 10 seconds
21.18.
left.
10 seconds here and see if you get any profit takers in the close here. Your current high is 37.75, getting a little dipsy doodle here. Now 20 points off the high going into that cash close. Looks like the Dow is going to go out up 2,093.11. So Great day for the market. Great rebound. Good to see it. Definitely sets up some more interesting trading for tomorrow. Anything you want to wrap on, Spencer?
Final number on the S&P 500 today, up 9.34%. That just makes me more bearish, honestly, but that's what I've been talking about for the past 20 minutes or so. So I'm not
Spencer
convinced.
making a stand in the
Yeah,
market.
this does not convince me at all. And as Spinner mentioned, MJ, I think he was joking, but this is an ETF that I looked at a while back. This is one that I probably will buy. I have not bought it. I have been waiting. I don't really know what I've been waiting for,
Whew.
but I wanted to buy it a long time ago and I didn't. I will buy this eventually. And when I do, I will say so on the show. But I have not gone and bought the marijuana ETF yet. But that's how I would play the sector because it's just way too volatile with all the specific companies out there right now. So that'll be it for us today. We'll be back with you with Dennis and our guest Michael Houston from CMC Markets on tomorrow's show. Everyone have a great rest of your day and be safe and healthy.